At approximately 4:15 this afternoon, the Regency jewelry store in Coral Gables was robbed by two armed individuals. As the individuals were fleeing, shots were fired and it was reported across the street at the City Hall in Coral Gables. As the suspects fled the area, they hijacked a UPS truck and kidnapped the driver. Shortly after, law enforcement began efforts to try to locate the truck and did so, which resulted in a high-speed pursuit through not only Dade County, but as you heard, through Broward County, ending here in the city of Miramar. The armed suspects engaged law enforcement, opened fire. There was exchange fire between law enforcement and the suspects, and unfortunately, the suspects are now deceased, but two additional innocent civilians were also deceased.
So here's a quick update on the breaking news story that we told you about just a little bit earlier. The Navy confirms a gunman behind an active shooter situation at the Naval Air Station in Pensacola, Florida, is dead. One person was also killed and 5 others were wounded and have been taken to local hospitals. The base was quickly put on lockdown following news of shots fired. The Naval Air Station employs more than 16,000 military personnel and more than 7,000 civilian staff.
I'd like to bring in our international affairs editor, Philip Perpetual. Philip, thanks so much for being with us. Is there any way out of this deadlock?
Well, for the moment, Sanam, it appears not, because neither side, neither the military-run interim government nor the protesters seem to be budging on their demands. The protesters, what they want is for these elections not to take place. And the military government is saying what we want is a strong turnout. And when you've got those two positions face to face, it doesn't look as though there's going to be much leeway either side. Now, what the protesters are angry about are the 5 candidates. Here they are. You can see there's 2 former prime ministers, 1 former culture minister, 1 former tourism minister, and the head of the El Mustaqbal movement.
Pyongyang warns Washington of consequences after President Trump commented that the U.S. may use force if necessary. The latest world wars come less than a month before the regime's self-imposed deadline for America's new approach, sparking concerns of a possible breakdown in nuclear negotiations.
After U.S. President Donald Trump called North Korean leader Kim Jong-un a rocket man on Tuesday and claimed that Washington could use military force against Pyongyang if it must, North Korean First Vice Foreign Minister Choi Sun-hee said that such comments would be a very dangerous challenge if they were not made in error. Choi added that Pyongyang could resume the tit-for-tat name-calling against the U.S. if similar expressions are used again. Park Jung-chun, the chief of general staff of the Korean People's Army, also lashed out at Trump, saying that the regime will also take prompt corresponding action at any level if the U.S. does indeed use military force against the North.
The government plans to send $5 million to North Korea to help mothers and children in the reclusive state. The decision to resume the aid program suspended in 2014 is made despite faltering talks with Pyongyang.
The Unification Ministry's South and North Exchange and Cooperation Promotion Council, in a meeting this Friday, decided to send $5 million for maternal and infant health care services in North Korea. It will be delivered through the World Health Organization and will be used in various ways, including for emergency equipment and medical team training. The aid for mothers and children is being resumed 5 years after it stopped in 2014. The government expects this project will lower the death rate of infants and mothers in North Korea.
Uber has just released some numbers and data, jaw-dropping data, in fact, in a new safety report. The company revealing itself publicly for the first time the number of sexual assaults reported during its rides in the United States.
The big one, over the 2 years of this study, almost 6,000 instances of sexual assault between 2017 and 2018. Now, again, the company pointing out this is from a total of 2.3 billion rides. They also go through and point out, for example, that there were 20,000 murders in the United States every year. So effectively what they're trying to do is to contextualize those numbers. But this is a situation where there have been obviously complaints and there have been concerns for a long time around this company.
Rescue operations are currently underway after a six-story building collapsed in Kenya's capital, Nairobi. An unknown number of people are feared to be trapped in the rubble.
Police say at least 10 people have been rescued or were rescued by residents who sued their bare hands or used their bare hands to dig through the debris. Military personnel also arrived to assist with the research and rescue operation.
Well, it's not immediately clear what caused the collapse. The building had 46 rooms which were rented out. Building collapses are common in Nairobi as housing is in high demand and some developers often bypass regulations.
The country's construction authorities say nearly 60% of buildings in the city are unfit for habitation.
More bad news for South Africans in the form of stage 4 load shedding. Eskom has decided to cut power from this afternoon till 6 a.m. tomorrow.
Good afternoon. Yes, I'm in a suburb called Goodwood, which is in the northern suburbs of Cape Town. And according to the load shedding schedule, Goodwood, Paddo, areas like Bonteheuwel are scheduled to have load shedding from now 2 o'clock up until 4:30. After that, it's a couple of other areas that will also be impacted, including Cape Town CBD, which is later tonight at 6 o'clock, also for 2.5 hours. Here in Goodwood, as we were taking a drive around, I'm just going to step out of shot so you can see the robots at this specific intersection where I'm at in Frans Conradie Road. The robots aren't working, it is off.